All right, back with you right here, Saturday morning. Hopefully everybody's having a good or had a good week, and your weekend is getting started here. So we got some comments to read there, and we're going to go through. Not a lot of comments this time. Actually, very little comments, so we'll fly through them here. We got one here from Joe. Joe P says the first thing that went into my hobby room, which became my hobby room the day after my son joined the Navy, was a small round clock which has a drawing of Lieutenant Columbo on it. I had owned it for 2 years before I got my hobby room. My wife wouldn't let me hang it anywhere in the house. 20 years later, it's still hanging. It's still there and still ticking. Yes. So yeah, if you happen to miss last week's show or miss what we were doing here, I sent out a question. I guess not a lot of people wanted to participate. What was that item that you knew was going to go in your hobby room or your special cave that you kind of wanted to decorate and deck out with all your stuff? All right, so that's what we're talking about here on this week's show. Sean says, I got to turn my full basement into a man cave. My centerpiece for one wall is a 5 feet by 3 feet framed Seahawks versus Broncos Super Bowl game program. Wow, that's pretty cool. Used to live in, I guess if you're talking about the Denver Broncos, I used to live in Colorado, so of course I had to, kind of be on board with them. I've also got a pool table and a theater set up in here as well. Now I'm in the process of putting together a gun room. It's fun getting to put rooms like that together. It is. Especially, a pool table is awesome. I've always liked pool, even though I'm never good at it. I've always liked how it works, the dynamics of it and everything. I've also liked the movie The Color of Money a lot. Paul Newman. All right. The Crazy Scotsman limited lifetime warranty and product exclusions on offers are just the way companies are getting out of anything that they don't want to cover or deal with. Yeah, it is. But I just was kind of poking fun at the fact that it's just like some of these things. I feel sorry for people that are stuck in retail doing that kind of stuff, because it really gets just it just gets crazy dealing with that kind of stuff where you're just stuck answering questions that are just really quite asinine and everything. So yes, I don't miss retail. I do not miss retail. All right. So anyway, there's that. That's it. Comments are done. Show's over. No, you know what? Because we don't have a whole lot of comments to go through, and usually that is the show. Really, is your comments. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a few things. Earlier this week, you may have noticed we actually did do a video that we is not something we do anymore, or I guess you could say we don't normally post a video like that, which came to thinking about it, and we're talking about a Model 629 Smith & Wesson, which this is one of those things where I gotten rid of some years ago. I had one of these and really liked it and ended up selling it, and what I had was it was a deluxe edition, like Talo something rather, which I don't even know if they're even considered the Talo editions anymore, because I had bought it when it was first out. Like, they just hit the market, and if I'm not mistaken, I paid like $700 for mine. Now I think they're $1,200 or more. They've gotten really expensive, but Smith & Wesson does still offer them. They of course they have some of the newer features that some people like or absolutely despise, and they can't deal with it, like the key lock or whatnot. Personally, a lot of people always talk about that frame-mounted firing pin versus the hammer nose. I guess I'm kind of weird. I kind of like the firing pin on the frame because just simply durability, I think. I always felt that. I've seen these ones on the nose break, and once it does, I don't think it's as simple as driving a pin out and replacing it. I think it's pretty much done, unless you got a gunsmith that can really reinstall one of these properly. So that's always kind of a downer there. But anyway, this one here is a vintage one. This is a Lou Horton special. This one I picked up some time back, and I had never seen one like this in the store. Really have not seen it. They usually don't pop up. This is a 629-1 with the 3-inch barrel, 6-shot 44 Magnum and everything. So yeah, I said, you know what, I've got to grab that, because I think that back when I saw it, I said, I've not actually seen one of these for sale like this. It's an old vintage one. So I said to myself, you know what, I think I better pick that up. So I did, and I ended up with it. Had it for a while. I know I've been kind of, because we stopped kind of doing any kind of, gun review, if you want to even call them that, on the channel. So just never really thought to my mind to show it. And honestly, I thought about it, and I said, I know a lot of you guys, this is one of those, this is something that I think it deserves a video on there, because we've done videos like it on there. And it was kind of for me coming back around, considering that I sold one and ended up with another one. And so I thought, you know what, because it really is, it doesn't serve it much justice, but this is probably one of the most gorgeous 44 Magnum revolvers, or just a revolver in general, that you can really lay eyes on. It's really, really amazing to see one of these. They done a really good job. They came highly polished like this. I guess this is one of the Lou Horton features or whatnot that they really wanted to do. They high polished it, and it's gorgeous. I don't know exactly how Lou Horton worked. They're gone now. I think they defunct in 2020. I think it was their last, something like that. I forget when they actually pretty much ended their whole thing. It may have been much later or much earlier than that. But at some point they quit doing everything. They closed up their shop. So something like this, they can't do anymore. They still have the one that's out, like you said, the Dash 6 or whatever, it's out. Nothing wrong with it. I really, in fact, I missed it so much that I wanted another one, and just never got around to it. And then when I kind of stumbled across this, I said, ooh, that's a Dash 1. That's an old original one. So I think I better grab that. Time to grab stuff like that is when you see it. So that's one of those items there that you got to pick it up. Another item that I kind of just remembered having gotten rid of, and I kind of said, I really wish I would have kept that. I had an older Series 80 Colt government model, just a plain Jane, no frills, no thrills government model that I gotten rid of. I traded off so much stuff over the years and gotten rid of so many things that I don't have anymore. But that's why when the Colt Classic came out, I said I really got to pick one of those up, because it was a way to replace that plain Jane, government model Colt that I had, 45 auto. And so I remember that was our late friend Mr. Holster was talking about these when they came out. So I went out to go look for them and see if I could find one, which I did. And I ended up paying the really appropriate price, which I felt, at the time, I think it was around $700 for these, and I think they're now like $1,000, which I think they're still worth it. But sad that they don't keep that price low where they should have been, or where they originally intended them to be. Me being kind of an old school, fan of the older Colts, which this is a throwback to that with the old roll marks and everything on it. of course, I changed some things, put the arch mainspring housing on it, and put the old school phenolic resin grips on there, the old school logo and everything. They got the the brownish grips on there, the orange grips. You can get those, by the way, from vintagegrips.com. You can get arch mainspring housings. All you have to do is really just look up things like Midway or whatnot, or Brownells, and you can get an arch mainspring housing. I think Ed Brown actually still makes them like that. So that would be, it already had the short trigger. So I just wanted to kind of make it throwback to having like the old vintage one. This is an old vintage 70 series. It's got the nickel trigger and a sided hammer, which at one time this did have that in it, but I changed it out to kind of the older, just blacked out, and I put the regular old hammer on that one. You can see the regular old Colt hammer, and so this one's a little bit different. It's still got the old plastic grips on it, or the phenolic grips and everything. So, but yeah, this is a cool one. These are out, and that's the one thing, because these are you can find them. They're getting somewhat scarce sometimes. They're getting kind of pricey. Even I thought at one time, when I was looking around for them, I remember seeing them. They're around $700, and they just kind of, shot up to 14 and onwards. So it's they're all over the place, and they're not cheap, and they're not getting. But you can get one of the new classic models, and that's out there. Down at the local shop, we have a shop here in town that you can pretty much walk in and buy one of these at any time. It seems like every time I've gone in there, which is I do go in there frequently, but yeah, it was nice to be able to go in there and just see it and just there it is. Which also brings me to another thing this week that I heard from somebody. And it really, it just gave me a nice, it tickled me, and it made me just like, that's so awesome to hear. But just casually hearing somebody just tell me that, yeah, I just walked into the local shop down there and picked up a Royal Blued Python 6-inch for $1,500. Beautiful gun, just absolutely love it. It's one of the new ones that they got. So in our neck of the woods, they're pretty much popping up all over the place now. They're available. I myself got to walk into a shop and actually see one personally, and I did handle it. I didn't buy it. I got to handle it, and I gotta say, what a gorgeous piece. The bluing is just unbelievable. Just deep, rich, dark, highly polished royal blue. It's amazing. And I wasn't surprised that they did. If you look at like this, even this newer gun, the polished flat slides and how dark and nicely done it is, even compared to the gun of yesteryear. That's the one thing is, this gun's got age on it, a lot of age, and it's still gonna, even though it's not too beat up, it's still wearing its age. When you see something brand new and almost the way they should have come out, or the way they looked when they did come out, you can just really tell how deeply blued it is, how rich that bluing is. So that what they can do, and they can still do it, pretty amazing. And I got to see that firsthand when I took a look at that. So yeah, absolutely. So that fella, him and I, carried on a conversation a little bit about that. It was really interesting to talk about, just to be here right now, and you're like, it's like knee deep in the midst of all this, that's going on, and just to be a part of that, where the Python, the blued Python, including the high polished stainless, is back on the market as a regular catalog item that you can just say, hey, you know what, order me one, and get it in there. That's really cool and they did it right. They did it. They did not fumble it, and they didn't do some weird things to it to make it where it's like, oh man, now they ruined the legacy or anything like that. At least the way I feel about it. So I just couldn't be any happier about it. Of course, That's just me, though. I'm not a. I always believe that. I just. I hated when things turn into that monetary thing where people were so hell bent on, making people pay for I want $4,000 for it. Man, jeez. Yeah, let me just get that out of my pocket here. At least we're not the working class and the people that are paycheck to paycheck or been there on the grind and finally retired and of course they're fixed income and they got this much to work with and it prices a lot of us average people right out of the market for that. So hey, if you're one of those that can just do it and just spend the money, more power to you, go for it. But not me. I'm a working class stiff. I'm a 9-to-5er, paycheck to paycheck. Just like the majority of us, the vast majority of us that are doing that, and listening to this show. So anyway, but yeah, that's just kind of my take on that. I'm glad to see it back around, and I'm not saying that $1,500 is cheap by any means. Even if it was $500, I wouldn't consider that cheap. Never have. But I'm just saying that it is nice to see it being offered for that kind of money rather than twice that or 3 times that as it was heading. So it is nice to see that kind of numbers coming back around, kicking around again. So that's what I mean about that. Anyway, but yeah, that was what was going on this week, pretty much. We did the video on that, the 629, and wanted to kind of bring out the old 1911s again and kind of talk a little bit about that because I kind of was thinking in the light of talking about that, which was there is stuff that over time that I have sold, and I'm sure many of you have sold or traded off or gotten rid of, that we kind of go looking back and say, wish I would have kept that. Wish I would have maybe but at the time it's always justified. We do what we need to do to make it happen. And I tell you, I'm guilty of raiding the safe and taking a big gym bag and going, okay, this is going, and we're gonna go down there and see what I'm gonna get for it. And I can't help myself when I see the money in sight, and I just start laying them out and saying, well, can I get this much for all this, and walking out of there with a stack of money. I can't help but that's lately been more more attractive to me. But yeah, that's been definitely something that I have definitely been guilty of doing it very much so. But yeah, lately I have been extremely, I have not really bought anything I just not like I used to. When I was working at a indoor range and everything like that, I actually bought things pretty regularly. I would go out to the shows and actually search for things and buy things. Part of it too was the fact that I worked at an indoor range. I could just take it to work and I got to play with it a whole lot more. Now that I don't do that and don't have the opportunities to do that anymore, and now going to the range is kind of like you got to kind of put everything together to go do so. That has slowed my interest in buying things. So when I left the range and everything, that is also what prompted that. Well, had a bunch of range stuff that I bought strictly because of that, which I ended up saying, okay, well, off with all this, and got rid of it all. And then as things would come around, I would be interested in something and then get it, play with it for a while, have it for a while, and then get bored with it, and then end up something else would come around and I would trade a bunch of that plus something else off to get the other thing. And So that was going on for a while, and then once you do that for a bit, you run out of stuff to trade off. You don't have anything more, so that's what happens there. But I keep my 1911s that I take to the range mostly, and that'd be that about it. So that was the only other thing that I guess I've been remiss about showing you, folks. I did not. Did not bring this thing out to show it to you, and it, like I said, it may have been in a background in a radio show further back. It may have been hanging on the wall or something, but because I wasn't really making any more type of tabletop review videos, I kind of thought about that. I said, you know what, this is one that I should probably bring out, because it is a popular item on the channel, because the other one that I had, the Dash 6 or whatever it was that I had, I did a video where we were hugging the tripod and we're shooting it at my buddy's property that had unfortunately passed away through the years, and we were shooting it, and that video surprisingly has like 2-point-something million views on it. Then we did one that we were talking about, and it had a couple 100,000 views on it. So people seem to really be interested in this, and so I thought, you know what, we should probably at least show it on the channel and do a video on it. I got to thinking about that the other time. So yeah, so there it is. It's up there for everybody to enjoy. I'm glad everybody seems to be liking the video and watching it. So I think in that case, like the other one that I would imagine doing a video on is, I do have my name on the list for the Python, the blue Python. I just have not been really like I haven't been like hard up actively seeking it out. Although I did find one. I told you guys I found one. I didn't buy it. I'm just not really, it's not something that I need to have right now. It's just something that's just like, well, you know what, I got a buddy of mine that's looking for one for me. He's got, they got their license and everything. So I told him, hey, I said, if one comes up on your radar, let me know, and pull it in for me. So he's on the list. And I just, I don't need to have it like right now or next weekend or anything like that. So, but something like that, I may do the video on that, and just to show it to you guys, and do some things that I had in mind to check out, because I wanted to talk about that in the future and look at them, and speak a little bit about in that kind of realm of money wise and what they cost, and we're talking about grips. Okay, all right. I'm going to see you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend and have a good one.